Did you know that Bryan Cranston auditioned to play Jerry? And that the actor who voices Rick actually got drunk in real life to make his character seem really hammered during this scene? Which actor always nails his lines on the first take? And what is Rick's secret backstory that was written by the show creators years ago? Hi, I'm Clive. Let's dive right into the top 10 craziest facts about the world's most mind-blowing cartoon ever. Number 10. The show's inspiration. There were two men, Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon. They met at Harmon's short film festival called Channel 101, and soon after they found out how similar their sense of humor was. Most of you know that Rick and Morty was inspired by the movie Back to the Future, but did you know that it all started because of Roiland kidding and screwing around? I would go through phases in my involvement with Channel 101 where I would make stuff that was kind of intended to just shock people. It started just for me, doing these two voices. Really bad impressions of Doc and Marty from Back to the Future. Roiland even made a really short and stupid cartoon called The Real Animated Adventures of Doc and Marty. For some reason, Dan Harmon fell in love with this short, so he entered into talks with Adult Swim to make a series with these two characters. And the rest is history. The interesting thing about Adult Swim is that they gave Roiland and Harmon complete freedom to do whatever they wanted with their world and characters. The show creators joked that it put lots of pressure on them. Why? Because if the series was a failure, they couldn't blame anyone else but themselves. Number 9. Unoriginal theme tune. Television and film composer Ryan Elder was asked to make a music theme that spoofs classic sci-fi shows and movies. And indeed, Rick and Morty's opening theme sounds a lot like the legendary Doctor Who and Farscape themes. But did you know that it was originally written for a completely different show? We bet you didn't. Back in 2012, Justin Roiland was working on the pilot episode for a series called Dog World on Cartoon Network. This show was about a world where dogs kept humans as pets. Wait a second. Doesn't that remind you of the Rick and Morty episode called Lawnmower Dog? That can't be a coincidence, right? Indeed, after Cartoon Network rejected Roiland's idea, he decided to use it as a plot for Rick and Morty's second episode. 'Cause why not, right? The plot was already written. Same as Ryan Elder's sci-fi music theme. So why not use them both in the new series? Some people may call it laziness, but hey, you wouldn't ever know that Rick and Morty's theme music was written for a different show unless you were told so. And talking about laziness, let's mention another crazy fact about the show creators. Number 8. It took 6 hours to write the pilot. Dan Harmon is a procrastinator with a capital P, and he fully admits it.
I don't commit to a schedule. I don't have a work ethic. I'm a really, really lazy person.
That's probably why it takes him so long to write new episodes. But writing the pilot draft was a completely different story. Both Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland were at their unfurnished office when they found out Adult Swim were giving Rick and Morty the green light. That news changed their lives. It sounds like a perfect day to breathe a sigh of relief and drink a mug of beer to celebrate, right? Nope, it didn't. Because if they had left the office, it would have taken them months to get the draft done because of their endless procrastination. Roiland forced Harmon to stay locked in the office for 6 hours, sitting on the floor and writing with total concentration. And voila! The pilot episode of Rick and Morty was done. Hey you out there! Yes, you! If you've been planning on doing something for a long time, stop whatever you are doing and do it right now! After you finish watching our video, of course. Number 7. 11-minute episodes. Most of the Rick and Morty episodes can be easily transformed into a feature movie. The Rick Lantis Mix-Up, the Rick Shank Rickdemption, Pickle Rick, the Rick Must Be Crazy, and many, many other episodes receive 9 to 10 points on IMDb, which is an amazing result. It's almost impossible to imagine how the scriptwriters managed to fill the story with that many mind-blowing events in only 20 minutes. But what if we told you that originally all episodes were meant to only be 11 minutes long? Imagine how different the whole series would be if this was the case. Justin Roiland pitched their idea to Adult Swim as shorter episodes that could possibly be combined into longer 2-episode stories if needed. But Adult Swim didn't like this idea. They wanted to put this brand new crazy show on the map, making each episode bigger. Such a move would make the show much easier to market. Of course, if the audience watched the show. And that's why Roiland agreed, as if he had another option. Number 6. Rick and Morty's voices. You might be surprised, but both main characters are voiced by the same man, co-creator Justin Roiland. If you don't believe us, then watch this secretly filmed behind-the-scenes process.
Oh shit, Rick, this is crazy. What are all these blue things in here? There's no time to worry about the blue things, Morty. We gotta get to Ruben's brain immediately.
This guy is genius. Besides being the co-creator of the show, he also manages to bring life to the two main characters and easily switches between them. Another interesting fact is that Adult Swim wasn't happy about this idea at first. They tried to push other actors for Morty, but all of them failed in comparison to Justin's talent. Admit it, the guy just has it. This reminds us of another genius from the animated world, Seth MacFarlane. Did you know that the creator of Family Guy voices 7 characters from his show? Let us know in the comments if you want to find out more about the secrets behind the making of Family Guy. We're dying to share everything we know with you. Number 5. Bryan Cranston as Jerry. We could make a whole other video just talking about the different celebs who have appeared in Rick and Morty. Christina Hendricks, Danny Trejo, John Oliver, Stephen Colbert, and many other great celebs agreed to take part in the mad world of Harmon and Roiland. But we want to focus on a specific actor who auditioned for the specific character. Yes, Mr. Heisenberg auditioned for Morty's father. Crazy, right? Back in the day, when Rick and Morty was still in its development phase, Bryan Cranston took a deep interest in the show. No one knows the exact reason why he didn't take the part, though somewhere in the parallel universe, Jerry might be a tough chemist who only pretends to be spineless. But it's probably for the best that Bryan Cranston didn't take the part, cause he starred in one of the world's greatest TV shows ever. Hey, let other people take some good parts too. Well, Chris Parnell did a really great job as Jerry, and the next crazy behind-the-scenes fact is all about that. Number 4. First take Jerry. What do you think? How many takes does it require for an actor to nail a line for Rick and Morty? According to Justin Roiland, around 30 takes. Which sounds like a hell of a lot. This could only mean 2 things. Justin Roiland is either a liar or a freaking tyrant. According to him, there's one actor who nails his lines on the first take. His name is Chris Parnell, and he is the voice of Jerry Smith. But don't be too happy for Chris, because he also needs to do around 30 takes, because the animation process of Rick and Morty always requires some extra material in case something goes wrong afterwards. Chris Parnell is not only famous for voicing Morty's father, but for being a cast member on Saturday Night Live, and for voicing Cyril Figgis in the Archer series, plus tons of other Hollywood movies and cartoons. Chris Parnell is a living voice artist legend, so maybe picking him instead of Bryan Cranston was indeed the right choice. Number 3. Rick's burps. Okay, this topic is a bit disgusting. Question for you, dear folks. Are Rick Sanchez's burps real or computer generated?
Earth show.
And the correct answer is yes, the burps are real. Every single one. Which proves that Justin Roiland is not only a professional showrunner and voice actor, but a professional burper too. In those moments when he can't elicit any belches, he uses secret techniques to help himself. You've probably already guessed which techniques I'm talking about, right? Carbonated beverages! Well, that's why it requires so many takes for the actors to do their lines. Being serious, if that's even possible while talking about this topic, such a job can be pretty painful. But it's all in the name of art. Do you want to know what other sacrifices Justin Roiland is always ready to make in the name of art? Check out number 2 on our list. Number 2. Hammered Rick. In Season 3, Episode 4, we need to see Rick get especially drunk, so I encourage Justin to method act. I understand things got a little creative, Dan Harmon described. You're starting to understand what happened here, aren't you? In order to act as convincing as possible, Justin Roiland actually got drunk. The video of hammered Roiland trying his best to concentrate and say his lines can be easily found on YouTube. So if you haven't watched it, go check it out.
Oh my god.
Here to explain this little baby princess. Whoa, 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 whoa!
He started with 4 tequila shots. Then he used a beer as a chaser. And right after that, Justin took a few more tequila shots. We don't know how, but the crew managed to record all the lines they planned. But all of them agree that that day was the least productive ever in the history of making Rick and Morty. Have you ever dreamed of having a job where you get paid to get drunk? Don't answer that question. Let's move on to our favorite behind-the-scenes secret on the list instead. Number 1. Rick's secret backstory. Have you ever watched a series where the showrunners run out of story material and simply don't know how to logically expand their character's development? This sometimes happens when writers haven't built their heroes' storylines beforehand. Luckily, the creators of Rick and Morty always think ahead. At least they said so. Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon claim that they have written an entire backstory for Rick, starting from the very beginning of the first season. And because of these words, there are already tons of crazy fan theories on the internet about Rick Sanchez. Like, for example, Rick could be an older version of Morty who traveled back in time to communicate with himself. Or maybe Rick's not a genius and he's constantly drinking. Not alcohol, but an extract that keeps him super intelligent. Rick's background could be anything. And Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon probably have a much more interesting and mind-blowing backstory for Rick Sanchez to surprise the fans with. All we can do is continue watching the show and simply enjoy it. Did you guys know any of these behind-the-scenes facts? Or maybe you've heard some other details we didn't mention here? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to our channel, stay safe, stay home, and most importantly, stay awesome!
When the drum beats go, play this.